Good day, everybody. It is Calxiyn and Hunter here with RWBY Beyond, the adventures of somewhat. We were so close, and then we threw it all away, because I don't know if you guys remember, but when we did our prediction video, way back before we knew that RT was shutting down, we said the adventures of somewhat were a real possibility before we sort of understood what RWBY Beyond was going to be. However, as the weeks progressed, Hunter and I, and mostly me, I was trying to narrow down who is in Texas, who lives in Texas, who can do the VA, right? And along the way, because Hunter came back, I don't know if you guys saw our video from a couple days ago. Yeah, I'm blaming her for it, by the way. But she said Coco and then Ty and Raven, because, who did
Anna
we say?
Holland
Anna Holland lives in Texas, right? And so my dreams were basically dashed, right?
Yeah.
And so neither of us remembered that we had the theory about somewhat, and Lucy Christian does live in Texas. So unfortunately, we were wrong. Not an Emerald episode, not a Coco episode.
I mean,
not
I know
Ty, not
you
Raven,
wanted
but...
to be an Emerald episode. I know you wanted
Oh
to be a
no,
Coco
I'm still
episode.
excited about this.
am
Like, I'm
hyped.
excited to check in with somewhat. It's just that I hate that, like, do you ever have that thing where you answer a test, right? You write your answer on a test and then you're like, no, that's wrong, and then you erase it, and then you get your test back and you figure out whatever your first instinct was, that was the correct one all along. That's just, I'm like, no, we fucked it up. But yeah, I'm excited to see this. Somebody did ask my opinion about whether or not I think that we'll see Neo. I don't want to see Neo. Like, I'd be okay if we saw her, but I am somebody that really appreciated, and obviously if this changes in the future, I'm not going to be mad.
We wouldn't see Neo, we'd see whatever Neo becomes.
Right, but we'll probably talk about that later, but I'm somebody that really appreciated the fact that Neo's story was open-ended, right? And my personal interpretation, based on some stuff that was said in the commentary, was that it's not like Neo would reincarnate and be like an amnesiac. Like, it seemed, in terms of what they talked about in the commentary, in the DVD commentary, there were some indications that, like, it doesn't exactly work the same way for humans as it does with the Everaftians. It's like humans always had it within their capacity to change and become who they want to be. And that's very fitting for Neo, because when you think about it, like, Neo went from trivia to Neapolitan. That was her, that's how humans and Remnant change, right? That's her evolution.
They kill their parents, they change their names, and they hook up with a known criminal.
Well,
that's how humans do it. I don't know about you weird, funky creatures in the Ever After.
I don't think, even if we saw Neo again, I would hope that the change would have come from the inside, as cheesy as that sounds. Like, that her physical appearance wouldn't change. There's some people that are like, Neo is gonna go through the tree and get her voice, which really fucking annoys me, and I don't want to get into all of that. That's terrible.
They could handle it well. Like,
yeah.
I think you could maybe see whatever Neo becomes, and
exactly. Maybe it's a little different, but there are still signs that it was her. Some people have changed her hair, so like the brown is on the outside and the pink's on the inside. Like, I kind of like those sort of changes in the style. But in terms of seeing like Neo, I'm very happy. Like, obviously, I'm not decked out in my Neo apparel today, and so I'm very happy if we don't see Neo. If we do, I kind of assume that it'll be somewhat is going past the tree and we see Neo is still in the tree. Maybe there's like a crack of pink to showcase that there's actual magic things happening in there. But otherwise, I'm pretty content with that. I am interested to see, though, I don't know. I don't want to say why we're checking in with somewhat, because I don't want to be like, if there's no plot connection, it's pointless. But, like, I do wonder what was the story that they wanted to tell with somewhat. Is it how the Ever After is coping after? Because, okay, RWBY didn't leave it necessarily in disarray, but I wouldn't say that RWBY exactly fixed everything that they broke, right? No. You have the prince, you have the Jabberwocker literally destroys the market. It would be nice if somewhat's job is to go fix all the shit that Team RWBY did.
Which I could see that being the case.
Tatters.
I could definitely see that being the case.
When you think about it, right?
Yeah, one thing.
I don't want to be like one of those, oh, Team RWBY's evil and they did evil things. Like, that's not what I'm saying, but like...
That's what somewhat would likely be doing.
Yeah.
I will say that, like, I didn't get anything spoiled for me, but I did see 1 or 2 screenshots from the Ruby Yang episode.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we did see Neo, I would have had, in that 5 seconds I was on Twitter, I would have had it spoiled for me. But on the other hand, they did show...
They did show Theodore, right?
So it leads me to believe that they are a little bit willing to like make.
I
some
haven't
big
seen
reveals.
anything this morning. I was too busy doing my hair.
I didn't see anything like
I understand.
Or spoilery, but
let us just get into it. I'd say.
Yes.
3, 2, 1, press and play.
Deep in the branches of the great
tree. Oh, that's so cute that it's RWBY doing the narration. I thought it was gonna be Eddie. I was like, Eddie narrates the episode.
I can do this. I can do this.
Oh, and it's Lucy Christian
Someone
too.
has such a cute little voice.
We can do anything.
Oh.
They were right to be somewhat nervous. Having a new purpose.
I like somewhat nervous. That's funny.
It's an important one at that.
Oh my god! I love that RWBY's doing this.
Things have been a bit different in the ever after lately.
Yeah, and the cat's gone.
The cat is gone.
Blacksmith.
Oh.
They were given a somewhat ambiguous quest. Find what feels wrong.
Oh, I like how maybe somewhat is
do
now the cat, like acting as the cat to fix people's broken, you know.
Somewhat unsure of where to go.
Oh, the Crystal Acre!
Followed their
oh my
to
god!
the newly rebuilt acre of the genial
gems. Oh my god!
Wow, everything looks so shiny.
Oh, this music too. I love the
Why is this
Harry Potter.
Yeah, kinda.
They were somewhat sad to be ignored.
God,
but also marveled at the
their
gems'
tail is just so big and rat-like.
The gems once had a hero that helped them day in and day
out.
But because of that, they thought not of themselves. Aww. Oh, we do not mean to be rude. We are just busy, said a nearby gem.
Oh.
The more that we help ourselves
You don't look
now,
that
the more
busy.
we can help others in the future.
You're sitting on a rock.
Oh no, see?
Part of physical activity. So I can assist you.
Okay.
It makes me happy to make you happy.
Yeah, you should feel bad.
It makes me less happy to tell you that we have seen no ordinary or out of ordinary things of late. Just ourselves.
I love this. I'm literally, I might actually cry.
I love Lindsay.
Smell.
Oh.
Yay!
I like Lindsay Jones doing the voices for the other characters, like the genial gems.
Everyone is okay.
Okay, hold on. I need to pause because I gotta get this thought out now before it overtakes me. What if this is RWBY in the future telling this to her kids, like how Summer read the book of the Ever After to them when they were kids, and that's gonna be like the full circle. Not necessarily even shown in here, but
it's
revealed later.
But it's also like, who does she have kids with?
Well, it doesn't need to be her kids. It could be like her adoptive kids, Blake and Yang's kids, right? I'm just saying, I think, or the other thing I was thinking was maybe she's telling this to the Vacuo kids, right? Like, I had this thing in a fan fiction I was writing, like, oh, so-and-so tells the kids stories as they're getting their shots from Pietro, like, holds their hand and tells them the stories of the Ever After to make them feel better.
Cute.
I just needed to get that out of my brain before it overtook my entire experience right now.
I wonder if we get to see the rooster teeth again.
Oh, it's the
Hawkers,
the Hawker people.
And because of that, we're stronger.
I love this.
Finding nothing wrong, they were somewhat discouraged. Their heart led them nowhere.
Oh,
but their heart leads them everywhere.
Oh.
How may I assist you? The herbalist asked.
Oh, we're not yet ready to return to the tree. We still have our purpose.
I see. May I ask a small favor? There is an after-in in need.
Oh!
Please, do what feels right.
It has to be the prince.
Maybe? I think it might be the... Yep, it's the prince. Okay, so...
Because that's, like, who else?
Yeah,
right?
Who else needs it, you know?
The Jabberwockers are dead, and then the cat is gone.
Heart, but an after-in in need. They entered the empty Crimson Keep. Typically ruled over by the loyal guards of the Red Prince, no such army appeared to be present.
I think there's some rhyming going on too, but I haven't exactly.
I think there is a bit of rhyming.
They finally stumbled upon a lone occupant.
Or there's something about the meter of it that feels like a storybook. Oh.
Where is everyone?
Got a big crack.
Without looking up, the prince muttered,
Aww.
I sent them away.
That's so
How could one
fucked
expect
up.
them to be ruled by someone like me?
Oh.
Who?
Do you want to try these
Someone
drugs,
like you.
children? You
Oh
might
my
be better
God.
afterwards.
Hands on the
Oh
game
my
piece
God, he looks so
finally broke.
pathetic.
And the two locked eyes for the first time. You seem familiar.
As do you. I wonder if we used to be friends.
The prince smiled.
No, he tried to
I
kill you
wonder.
once.
Please, sit. Let's play a game.
Oh.
I'm so sorry, but I have a job.
As do I, the prince interrupted.
His job
And
was
if
to
you
win,
beat me,
right?
Right,
I'll happily help you with yours.
right.
So, what is your purpose?
Oh, his little,
To win this
little
game.
feet are kicking out.
That doesn't seem very
So
fair.
cute.
Oh my God, that's
What
what they
if my
said back
purpose is
then.
to win too.
Such is the way of our life.
What
Oh,
if it doesn't have to be?
I'm getting chills. Oh my
I'm still
God.
new here, but I've met loads of afterins and people that have grown and found new things to do, even without going to the tree.
See?
Who knows? Maybe you could teach others to win.
Oh.
Speaking of, I won! I think.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
You're so baby.
I love how now they're actually moving
After
the
a
pieces
long
because they're
silence,
not
The
possessed
Red
anymore,
Prince
right?
finally spoke. Thank you for playing with me, little one.
I
I've
used to
learned a
be
lot.
little. Now I'm somewhat. It's fine.
That felt right.
Oh.
It seemed that more than a somewhat big impression had been left on the prince.
I love
And
this.
there was one less wrong thing in the ever after.
Oh. I
Their
guess.
purpose complete.
Oh.
They desired
Oh.
nothing more than a rest after their grand
And
adventure.
this is a
Jabberwocky?
great place to
Unfortunately,
rest.
life is seldom
Is
as
this
straightforward.
where the Jabberwocky? 'Cause
I
this
mean,
is
it used
also
to be.
where
What?
a portal?
That's when they saw someone that they were somewhat not prepared
Oh,
to
what
see.
the fuck?
Is this gonna be Lewis?
You're back!
Neo?
What?
What?
I'm
What?
so confused.
Who is that?
Wait a minute. What
What?
the hell? Okay.
Well, who?
Wait.
What?
Wait.
Where? When?
When? What do you mean when? Okay, hold on.
Sorry.
Can we? Oh dear.
Felt right.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah. What the? I'm
Somewhat big
like,
impression had been left on the prince.
I'm befuddled,
And there was one
honestly.
less wrong thing in the ever after.
I'm guessing that he dropped it because he
Their purpose
took the
complete.
leaves,
They
right? Like.
desired nothing more
That
than a
or,
rest
like,
after
Okay,
their
he
grand
did-
why?
adventure.
I don't know why
Or
you're
he
resting all
didn't
the way
need the
over
leaves
here.
anymore?
Life is
Yeah,
seldom
maybe he
as
doesn't need them because he
straightforward.
knows his purpose now, right? Okay.
So that's
Oh,
That's when
what?
they saw someone that they were somewhat not prepared to see.
Ruby?
Well, okay.
Neo? Lewis?
Somewhat says you're back, but Little wouldn't have remembered Lewis. Unless they're
Yeah,
just
Little
saying
wasn't there, so-
Little wasn't there. Unless they just know. I don't know. Like they just know.
What if it's the curious cat? What if it's Neo?
Well,
What if it's
hold
Ruby?
on. Well, first of all, though, it's a portal like the portal. Like, why would Neo come through the portal like this, right? Because I know they said that the curious cat said that Neo no longer has a purpose, so she can't go back to Remnant. But the idea that I always had was that if Neo had gone through the tree, she would find her purpose, like, you know, in my, Delulu headcanon, is that she decides that she wants to be a huntress. But that would mean that the blacksmith would send her back to Remnant. This portal is more akin, is it not, to the portal. Well, first of all, it's like the one the blacksmith made, but the one the blacksmith made was based off of the one the Relic of Creation made. This is a Relic of Creation color. So,
Yeah.
I would say... Here's my theories.
But
just
the Relic of
immediately.
Creation could make a portal.
Right.
Yeah.
But okay, let me cook.
Sure.
3 things. 1, it is Team RWBY, and this is after Salem is defeated, because
Yes.
Salem has the Relic of Creation. It's supposed to be, and that's how RWBY is telling this story, because they go back and forth. I don't know, like, after Salem's defeated, they have some sort of cross.
That does make sense that that's
Remnant
how...
ever after vacation spot.
Connection,
Remnant, there's
trade,
a connection.
relationship.
Open trade, relationship, right? You know, and the humans come visit after everything is over. And so this is supposed to be taking place after the series, because we know also that the Ever After works on a kind of weird timey-wimey situation, right? That's my first thing. The second thing is I understand that Somewhat says you're back, but is it possible that Somewhat sees someone that happens to look human, and so they presume it's going to be RWBY coming through, but instead it is not RWBY? Because my first instinct, and this is a theory that we had actually before Volume 9 started, is that Salem was going to tell Ambrosius, do the last thing that Team RWBY made you build, right? Because we obviously know that the way that the Staff of Creation is supposed to work is that you need to clearly outline the thing that you want built. However, I could see a loophole where Salem could just say, build the last thing that you built. You know what the last thing you built was, right?
Yeah.
Like, why would she have to explain that? So I kind of think it would be pretty fucked up if what happens is that it's Salem and Somewhat has a case of mistaken identity.
But
like,
who would Somewhat mistake Salem for?
Well, no, I'm saying that Salem hasn't actually walked through the portal yet. Someone is saying, oh, you're back, right? Because they just see a head or a hand or something. Or a shadow,
and
right? And they assume that it's actually
That's fucked
Salem.
up, because what if Salem does, like, enslave all of the Ever After?
That's what I'm saying, right?
That would be
I could even
great.
see, you know, there used to be this theory that Cinder and RWBY were related, right? So, or something, right? So what if Somewhat sees Cinder at first and thinks that it's RWBY, because they do have a very similar sort of hair situation going on, right? And they think that it's RWBY, and then it's like, oops, it could be RWBY in the future. It could be Salem in the present, honestly. Yeah. And that's, I think that would be pretty fucked up, honestly, and I think that would be not only fucked up, but to me it makes a lot of sense somehow. We also had a theory that the crown was somehow connected to the Ever After a long ass time ago. And so I don't know if that has any sort of connection to it, but I wonder if maybe okay, because this is gonna sound a little crazy, but hear me out, right? So the crown is supposed to show you the potential future, right? I wonder, mayhaps, could it be that the spirit of the crown of choice is actually the blacksmith? And so when you activate the crown, you are taken here to see the blacksmith. And it's a bit more of a drawn-out process, because the crown is in the fairy tale book, but maybe it's a bit more of a drawn-out process than the fairy tale book would suggest. Because if there's somebody that shows you multiple options for the future, is it kind of not the blacksmith in a way, right? And the blacksmith would be somebody that makes a crown, like melts a crown out of whatever. Yes. So I don't know. I'm just sort of spitballing.
I do think that, like, it's possible that it could be the Curious Cat reincarnated.
But why would it come through a portal like that? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah,
I don't know. The portal was specifically seemed to be Team RWBY kind of related, right? And so I don't know why. Like, I don't know why there would be a creation relic portal. Here.
This is so fucky.
I feel like it has to be with the staff. That's the only thing that makes any actual sense. I don't know! I've never been so stumped because I can't think of anything in the volume that would have had any foreshadowing toward this.
The best idea is that it's RWBY or that it's Salem.
Yeah.
Like, I think those are the big guesses.
But, like,
because otherwise,
why would they do this?
Yeah.
Like, for what purpose would they? I feel like there has to be some sort of foreshadowing. Let's just watch the episode again, maybe with no sound like we did last time. But obviously, if RWBY is telling this story, there's sort of the implication that she is the one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if she's telling the story, it would imply that the reason why she's telling it is also because she knew about it, somewhat told her about it, so I feel like that may be the most common sense, right? Okay, yeah, so we don't see Neo, by the way, anywhere.
Unless, I don't know, maybe Salem kidnaps Jean and then
Jean throws him in the Ever After?
Well, I mean, it's just an idea, because it's like I'm just trying to think of all the people... Yeah. Other than it's Neo is my only other guess, if Neo got out somehow and then got back in.
Right, but it would just be weird because why would they drop her when the herbalist breaks out? The herbalist just breaks out of the cocoon. So that's, I think, evidence against the idea it's Neo through the portal, because wouldn't it stand to reason that...
Unless Neo left and came back. But then that's just more complex. It makes more sense that it would just be Ruby or Salem.
What if it's that Cinder is coming through the portal to kill Neo because she knows that Neo's alive?
But somewhat doesn't know who Cinder is.
Right, but maybe it's a case of mistaken identity that...
Neo and Cinder do not look enough alike.
No, that Cinder, as Cinder's going through, somewhat thinks that they're seeing Ruby is what I meant.
Maybe.
Like, back to that idea, you know what I mean? Like... Again, or just saw a shadow or a hand, and all humans look the same to me.
That's
right?
funny.
Like, right? Because don't the mice say that all you big humans kind of look alike,
same.
right?
Yeah,
and so I feel like that, right? And so, okay, the blacksmith gives somewhat the quest. I like the little stick, by the way. I like the stick with the leaves on the tree.
I don't know, part of me wanted to give them a little wooden sword. That would be cute.
I mean, but I like the staff because it feels like a very bippity-boppity-boo, like, magic wand situation, but then obviously...
I like the idea of somewhat just whacking people with it.
Also, we're stupid and didn't talk about this in our last episode, but officially the Alex's Juniper theory got shot out the back last week because Juniper was in the scenes with Alex and Lewis. So that officially got canceled.
I think it's heavily implied that Alex becomes the blacksmith.
Right.
People seemingly disagree with me on that, but I think it's basically implied.
I mean, it's weird, though,
I feel like
because...
they just didn't want to be explicit with it.
I know, but it's just strange because then, like, what was there before? I don't know. I know what you mean, though. I think
it was just a tree, but then, and that's how I felt back when Volume 9 originally released anyways. But
I like how we go to all these places and people are actually helping themselves because Team RWBY being here actually made all of the creatures more human. Because before it would have been like, oh, our purpose is done, kill ourselves, so like, let's go to the tree, right? But instead it's that our purpose is done, now they can have introspection, right? Because that's why I think the prince drops the leaves. He doesn't need to go to the tree. He already found his new purpose by themselves, right? And so I like this. I like how the gems I'm currently resting, right? And I thought that was really cute.
That is very cute.
But yeah, I really liked the fairy tale beats of it. I liked how they're visiting all the places that we had
Someone's also so cute, sitting on his little butt with all the legs.
And then somewhat doesn't seem to remember. I guess Hawker must be alive, though. We thought that he died, so I guess he must
Hawker's
be okay. He probably just reincarnated as maybe a stronger version of himself or
maybe
something.
he got injured.
Maybe he didn't die. But yeah, I really liked RWBY doing all the little voices. I thought that was cute. I like that now they're all coming together stronger. Okay, can we just talk about, like, there's some interesting creatures going on back here.
So we know about the toy people. We know about the little leaf.
Sort of...
That cat-looking thing is interesting.
Lemur.
That's the only thing I haven't seen before.
Right, yeah. I don't even know what that would be, to be honest. I mean, it kind of looks like a little version of Juniper, so maybe this is supposed to show that there's
Juniper's from.
Similar Juniper creature, right?
And the fur bait.
Yes,
hexagon
but I really like the herbalist. I like the herbalist sensing that the prince is in need. It seems like the herbalist job has changed a little bit too. It seems like, the herbalist was a little confusing because we never really knew what his job was, but it seemed his job was sort of
give people
forcing upon people a change, whereas the herbalist is kind of staying in his lane and being like, there's somebody that needs help, but you do it. Right? And so I kind of like that change maybe for the herbalist. The herbalist has more of a sanctuary, but he's allowing people to have the choice. He packages the leaves so it's their choice to take them rather than forcing the smoke onto them, right?
Yeah.
So I find that interesting. I love to see the keep again. I thought that this was cool. I like the fact that they let the army go. I thought that was very interesting. It reminded me of, I think, is it volume 7 or 8 or I don't know, somebody, I guess Willow lets all the servants go or something?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
8,
so it kind of reminded me of that sort of thing that, I don't know, like, I kind of see Whitley in the Red Prince right now, like this just sort of sad, rich boy all alone, and so...
Trying to reconsider his place in the world.
Yeah, and so I saw a parallel with that, but I liked this idea. How could I expect them to be ruled by someone like me? I thought that was nice, that it seems like he's already introspecting, right? But I really like that. I like that you know, they're familiar, but they don't know each other, right? I just thought that this was cool. And I liked the idea that they're playing the game now, but they're not actually, not cheating, I don't know. Like, the game pieces don't seem to be moving by themselves. It seems like they are moving the pieces. And I like this sort of philosophical, like, what if my purpose was to win? Would that cause a plot hole? Like, that sort of thing that
just the way the shot's set up with the floating chest, it's very much so like, what is it, like, Magneto and Professor X and the X-Men playing chess with each other.
And I love this, like, people have grown and found new things to do even without going to the tree, right? And I like that. And it's because of the human influence on the Everaftians. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. I just thought of something. What if it was somebody that somewhat saw, but not in real life? Like, and what I mean by that is because Neo makes Roman, Ironwood, Lionheart, Clover, Pyrrha, and Penny.
But all those people are dead. So unless someone comes back from the dead, the only one really capable of doing that is Penny, and she's not really capable of doing that anymore.
It'd be kind of crazy if, like, I know that Penny's dead, and it was pretty explicit that she was dead, but it would have been kind of crazy that because she was in the world between, that she reincarnated in the Ever After, too. Like, that would be kind of crazy, like Penny coming through a portal. I don't know. I feel like that they need to understand that this is going to create crack for at least a year, right? Like, I feel like that when they wrote this, they had to have understood that we were going to kill ourselves trying to speculate about what the fuck happened at the end
I'm really glad I feel a lot more positive that this won't be the last RWBY thing to ever exist, or else this would drive me up the fucking wall.
Yeah, but I like him dropping the leaves because it's like, I don't need to go to the tree. I already have my new purpose, right? But yeah, they desired nothing more than a rest after their grand adventure. I also like the little walking animation. It reminds me of something I did for the RWBY rewrite. I had Neo and Roman walking that exactly like teeter-totter way. Oh man, you can tell that this was so humanly done. Does that make sense? Because like the production team was so small.
Humanly
I don't know.
Done
you know what I mean?
Is a very like it's
I don't mean like as opposed to AI done, but it's
low frame rate.
You can just tell that like someone did this with their hands
animatic quality.
in a way I can understand because you know it's kind of on my level of what I can also do, right? So I just thought that was cute. But yeah, unfortunately, life is seldom straightforward, and see that could be kind of implying a timey-wimey, or it can imply life is hardly straightforward. There's also bad things are about to happen, especially because it is in the Dark Acre, right? That's when they saw someone that they were somewhat not prepared to see. And that just means it's not someone that you know, it's not someone that you are familiar with, it's someone that they were somewhat not prepared to see, which to me reads as Salem.
But someone did be like, oh, it's you again, you're back. So it's someone who was here that left.
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
It was someone that was here that left. So it kind of has to be someone who either is from Earth that left and then came back, remnant rather, that left and came back, or an afterin that came back.
Does it have to be though?
Yeah, because who the heck else would someone even know?
Doesn't even know RWBY when they reincarnate. They forget, right? Obviously, they meet that one last time at the tree.
Must be
but that's what I'm saying. I'm like, but what if they are just saying you're back, as in human people? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're a human person. Okay, I think the most likely answer is that it's RWBY, but do you understand what I mean by that? If someone is not like, oh my goodness, the person I recognize so much. Like, your back is a very open-ended sort of thing that could have meant the people of Remnant are back, right? Like, the humans are back, right? And so I feel like that. Do you understand?
Then
I don't know if you guys think that I'm
being
kind of unreasonable,
no,
but
I guess you are, as in you humans are back.
Yeah, like, not you are, as in Ruby Rose, you are back. Like, I feel like that, because why didn't somewhat say, I don't know, like, oh, the Rusted Knight, right? And obviously the technical answer to that is probably, oh, well, the writers wanted it to be on a cliffhanger, right? But from my perspective, what would be the purpose to keep it vague if, oh, all roads point to it being RWBY. I feel like the only reason to keep it vague is because it's supposed to be someone that's not supposed to be here.
It's
Salem, Cinder, Summer. It's supposed to be a surprise. It's supposed to be Raven, and Raven just looks to somewhat like right. And so that's what
at least
saying.
Raven looks like
because
Yang,
there's no reason why they couldn't have said RWBY, you're back. Especially because RWBY's the one narrating, so common sense would dictate that it's supposed to be RWBY that eventually returns at the end. But why would they keep it ambiguous if there's what would be the purpose to keeping it ambiguous if it's the straightforward answer if it's RWBY that came back? Like, just because, I don't know, like, just so they don't accidentally write themselves in a corner later? Like, I'm trying to think of it from the writing perspective of, like, well, why would you keep it ambiguous? Because there would be nothing wrong with this full circle moment of it's RWBY that's coming back through the portal
but then
and
it's
confirming
like, why
that.
did RWBY? Did they already
but just
win?
At the end
That's
of the journey,
weird,
right? But that's not
but it's kind of weird.
But then
where it's
you
like,
would
oh, I
speculate
guess
about
everything.
why RWBY eventually came.
But
back,
it's like, I don't know.
right?
It's like, well, I guess RWBY is young, so there's not a time skip. RWBY has all her limbs intact.
Well, no,
so...
I'm not saying that you have to see her. I'm seeing that, like, to me, the only purpose for ambiguity is because they are going to subvert it somehow.
I'm
yeah, people are saying
by
Neo, and I'm like,
back.
but that doesn't make sense to me. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that it's Neo, because why would Neo come out that way? We saw how the herbalist broke out of his shell, guys.
I think
we saw how the herbalist broke out.
I think we've already kind of, like, exhausted every
Oh, no, I know.
Outcome.
I want to see, I'm like, guys, come on now. I don't think that it doesn't make sense, because, you know, in terms of planting things, right, they clearly showed us what happens when people break out of the shell, not once, but twice. When RWBY broke out of the shell, she just broke out. When the herbalist broke out, he just flew away. So there's no reason for it to be Neo coming through that portal. Does not make any sense. Again, we've already exhausted the other options, but it needs to be external, because everything that this narrative has showed us about how this system works is that if you break out of the tree, you just, like, butterfly away. So it needs to be somebody that's using the staff. The colors are the staff. The question is who, right? But otherwise, I feel like that it's pretty obvious, you know what I mean? But I mean, this is gonna keep us speculating probably for a while.
It's such a dick move on their part.
You're mad?
To have, like, a big not twist, but like cliffhanger ending where we don't quite know what's going on.
I think that it being RWBY makes the most sense, because then that's how RWBY knows the story. It's because she went back and asked someone what they were doing.
Yeah.
The only thing though is it's strange to me that this happens in the Dark Evil Acre, because you would think that if it was RWBY, it would be nice if it was on the beach where they first met, whereas the vibes of the evil kind of do make me think that it's Salem. I cook so hard, my brain is fried, you know? But the other problem, though, with it being Salem is that they explicitly say, as long as Remnant turns, you will walk its face. So you would have to get into the semantics of, like, is this considered part of Remnant somehow? Like, is this considered... Or can she actually leave Remnant? Like, is that okay? It just means that even if she went here instead, as long as Remnant turns, she will be alive. Like, she doesn't need to literally be bound to Remnant in terms of the surface of Remnant. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like you just, like, looked into the distance and did not hear what I said at all. Am I wrong?
Maybe.
Okay, what I'm saying is that the idea of Salem's curse... People think that it literally means she cannot go into the ever after, because as long as Remnant turns, you will walk the face of Remnant, but it could just mean that as long as Remnant turns, you will be alive. Like, you will continue
I don't think it, like,
right?
yeah, it might just be a whole, like, you will live forever type thing.
I don't know. I kind of fuck with the idea that it's like Cinder, because Salem finds out that Cinder did not adequately kill Team RWBY and sends her through the portal, which was an idea that we used to have a long time ago.
That makes sense.
The only question of, wait! Oh, I just realized something. Oh, no. Wait a second. Oh, shit. Okay.
What? Share with the class.
In the books,
oh, Jesus.
Sun has a dream where he sees the tree.
Yes.
And it's very... to me, implied that tree was supposed to be the ever after. So what if somewhat is seeing someone, because we had this weird astral projection thing where we thought that maybe the way that Alex and Lewis accidentally came into the Ever After was because they had some sort of semblance that revolved around dreams, and they traveled to this place in their dreams, kind of like Narnia, right? You go through the door and whatever, and then you come home. I don't know, right? And so what if what happens is that someone is seeing someone that either has a semblance evolution or that somewhat saw before because somewhat saw them get their semblance. Does that make sense? I don't know who that would be exactly, but that it could really be anyone at that point. Like, it could be somebody that came here in a dream and is now returning here again. That's why when they said, I don't know, for some reason, like, as I was just thinking, you're back, and I was thinking about Cinderella and the shit with all the mice. What would be really fucked up, and I know that obviously the reincarnation, and then it's like, well, how does Little know, or how does Little remember, right? But it would kind of be a messed up sort of thing if Cinder does go back to look for Team RWBY and she's here in person, but somehow, they're holding the stick of the tree, so maybe it's even like they feel it in their heart because they're holding something of the Blacksmith. It's like, Cinder came here when she was a child and unlocked her semblance, and now she's an adult and she's here to cause terror and problems.
That'd be weird,
right?
if Cinder... Yeah, they didn't mention that in the Cinder backstory.
They mentioned that, huh?
In the Cinder backstory
no. But, like, in the dream, like, she got her semblance, right? The same as anybody else did. Yeah. And Sun saw the tree as well. I don't know. I'm just, that semblance thing, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, well, that's the only other way that we've heard about people potentially coming to the Ever After is, like, Sun seeing the tree in his dreams.
Well, he had having a vision is different than being
I guess, but you wonder if people actually may have saw. Maybe. Right? And then you have that Little is holding the piece of the tree. Yes. So, I don't know, like, would you remember?
I don't know.
I feel like that has to be... Why would they write that? That keeps me up at night.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's just a cliffhanger meant to fuck with you, and now it's fucking with you.
No, but I mean even what they wrote in the book. Like, why did they do that? Why did they do that?
Well, because they obviously had lore meetings. E.C. Myers,
But
E.C. Myers definitely knew what was going on.
If they're never going to tell us anything about it, I'm a little mad. But yeah, I wonder, could that be it? Like, somebody's semblance evolves.
Or, like,
and they go to the
semblance
tree, right?
can originate with the tree in some capacity, because we know the brothers come from the tree, so...
Wait, what if it's the brothers coming back? That would be fucked up.
Maybe, but
was someone there for the lore exposition? I don't think that
No, someone wasn't. Someone was getting remade. But I feel like
you know in your heart. Like, I feel like you'd probably know in your heart if you saw, like, the gods of the world or whatever. Again, they're holding the branch. It would be kind of funny if it was the gods coming back.
I don't know.
To me, it would kind of be a little hilarious because, I don't know, I know that what you're saying, Hunter, like, it needs to be someone that's somewhat literally recognized. At the same time, I'm kind of taking, like, a Jesus-y kind of approach to it, whereas if you saw the face of God, would you not feel it in your heart and, like, down to the bone or something? And so that's how I'm sort of
God is a tree. I don't step outside and look at a tree and I think, oh, God.
I know, but I'm saying in terms of the brothers, if the brothers came back, I feel like that's kind of a recognize on sight type of people. Even if you weren't actually there, I feel like that you'd kind of know. Like, because they created everything,
yeah, but
right?
Team RWBY also weren't immediately like, oh, the brothers, when they saw them in the thing. They had to be taught about the brothers by Crow.
What do you mean in the...
Team RWBY had to be taught about the brothers.
Oh, no, I know that, but I'm saying they made everybody in here. The brothers made everything.
Did.
I know. Well, the trees made the brothers, and then the brothers went around making shit, right? And so what I'm saying is that, like, they're seeing their other originator.
Maybe.
Right? So I don't know. I'm just saying, you're back. That kind of makes sense if it was the brothers coming back. And maybe it'll be, that's a subversion. It's that RWBY calls the gods back to Remnant. They decide to leave Remnant alone, like we all think is gonna happen, because they show that humanity is united, and the brothers are like, oh, well, now where do we go? And they're like, maybe you guys should go back and find your purpose with the tree. Like, you should rejoin the tree. That would be a very nice ending for the brothers, I feel. And it would make sense also why they're coming through a portal, because it's, the relic of creation, something they made. So it kind of makes sense if it's maybe the god of light. I don't know. I think that's a very nice... That, to me, makes sense why they wouldn't reveal who it is. Because that's a very big, like, you would understand immediately where the show was going and everything, right?
Yes.
So I think I'm cooking. With that, I think I'm cooking, right? Because, again, I understand what you're saying, but the Blacksmith did task somewhat to go around and find things out of the ordinary, so I feel like that this stick isn't just a stick, it's kind of like imbued with the Blacksmith and the essence, right? So I think if somewhat saw the God of Light and Darkness, especially after, you know, they made the cat and they
Carrie Shawcross is giggling, being like, oh yes, the psychological damage I intended to inflict.
Oh my god, but do you know what I mean?
It is working.
Like, especially after they were prancing around in all these very distinct forms, right? Like, no matter what era they were part of. I'm just saying, the Blacksmith could have given somewhat the narration, okay? Like, because Team RWBY, as they were transporting through or whatever, they got the narration, so maybe somewhat in Neo also got the Blacksmith's God of Light and Darkness exposition, okay? And so now somewhat is recognizing it's the gods who came back. Thank you. We should probably move on to the next one now. Hope that you guys enjoyed. We'll see you later. Bye. I think I'm cooking, honestly. I think the gods, I'm just saying.